This is Hannibal here from thehannibaltv.com, and today my guest is the former Islanders tag team partner of Haku, the former Body Slam movie tag team partner of Roddy Piper, the father of Jacob Fatu, who I think just broke a record for being world champion at MLW, none other than the Tonga kid himself. How are you doing today, sir?
Good, my brother. Good. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
And of course, you're part of the Samoan dynasty, for anyone that doesn't know.
Okay. Yeah. That's a large family right there. You can't miss us, man.
That's not a family that you want to piss off either.
Not at all. You definitely don't want to piss us off because, they say it's a small world, right? We'll find you one way or the other.
What do you think about Roman Reigns finally being turned heel after all these years? People were wanting him to go heel, and now it's finally happened.
Well, I think it worked out good for both parties. At the same time, it's really on Joe's favorite as well, cousin Roman Reigns. I took my hat to him holding the fork down as well and giving the opportunity, So that was good for the WWE to make that right call. Sometimes it's good for these young kids to get up and do their thing and give them a chance to shine as well.
How much did you have to do with your son Jacob Fatu's training when he was breaking into the business?
That's a whole new chapter in my life. But it wasn't hard at all. My son pretty much had again, it runs in our bloodline in our family, and I never knew that. I'm sorry, I take that back. I did know that my son was. He's a talented kid, anyways. His thing was football. I would really like for him to play football, but when he was young, I took him to a lot of matches too, as well. So I knew when he first did a flip off the top rope, I was actually telling him to get out of the ring because we were setting up the ring, get ready for the show. And I was telling him to get out of the ring, then of course I had to put the show together, the matches and all this stuff. And one of the guys, the referee, came in the back dressing room and the show's very sorry. He goes, "Your son's still in the ring." So I told him to get out of the ring. And then they said, yeah, he was doing the backflip. And then I didn't know what they were talking about. It was actually the summer stuff, the move he does now. So that's what he was doing, when he was playing around the ring every time I was putting the show together. But I knew right away that it was in him. He didn't really have to do a lot. He's natural. You know what I mean? And some people are made for this business, some ain't, and some are made to be NFL football player, and some don't. Some ain't. So it works in every sport. But I knew right away that he had it. It was already in him. But yeah, not a whole lot of work. Outside the ring, a lot of work, but inside the ring, he pretty much has everything 110% right away. I'm proud of him, very, very proud of him for holding it down to MLW and the champion that he is. Again, like I said, a lot of us, those aged kids, companies need to recognize to give these kids a shot. Give them a chance. And that's what I would like to see in all companies do, is give these kids a chance. You can't really tell who they are and what they're about when they're behind closed door, or, it's almost like everyone that goes into the WWE, once you get on that TV, now everybody's like, oh shit, where's this guy been? Who is this guy? See, people don't know. They know who he is and everything, but that's a big stage, and that's where you want to go ahead and shine, But now he's doing great. I'm very proud of him. He's doing great up there in MLW, and he's holding it down on his end. And of course, we got Secret Joe Roman holding his end down in WWF. So we're moving everywhere. We're everywhere. Everywhere you turn, you're gonna run into a Samoan. So it doesn't matter what company it is. It's either gonna be one of us, or three of us, or two of us, or 12 of us, or 20 of us. You'll run into us.
For your own getting into the wrestling business, did you always want to be a wrestler as well? How did it come about that you got into the business?
Well, when I was a young kid, again, I think I told this story before many a times. I was a bad kid growing up in San Francisco, California. And of course, my mom and Sika and Appa are brothers and sisters. And they just decided. My mom did actually. My dad just sort of went for the ride. That they had to go ahead and do something with me, and so they sent me out to Apa and Sika, which is the Wild Samoans, the Florida, Pensacola, Florida, and I took that long old bus ride, that long Greyhound bus ride, all the way down to Mobile, Alabama, and then that's where I met my uncle Sika. Picked me up and took me in. And again, I had no plans to become a professional wrestler at all. I just happened to be there with Alpensica, and that's what they did for a living. At the same time, I'm trying to figure out what I was going to do, but my uncle Alpensica were part of my lives, and they were going to help me direct me to the right place because, of course, that's their sister. And everything I did, I work, everything I do is for my mom and my dad and my siblings. Again, in order to play sports and in any sports besides wrestling, you almost got to have some kind of degree or, some kind of education or whatever. And I didn't have that. I didn't have that. I didn't have the resources to move forward and to learn how to read and write and all the other stuff. So I was pretty much too late to go back into the high school. So at that time, I went to Apasica's matches, and from there on, it sort of grew into me. I sort of got the itch for it because I was around it every single day because that's what my uncles did. They beat people up for a living. And I thought wrestling was real. And I thought to myself, man, I don't know if I can do this. But then again, I go, man, there's a lot of the guys I see wrestling there that I can whoop their ass, I mean, whoop their ass like in real life. But at the same time, I knew it was their job. That's how they supported their family. And I just go ahead and just dove in at it. So I sort of pulled around the ring and I thought, okay. So that decision was made right there in Pensacola, Florida with Alpa and Sika. And I want to thank them for that as well. And this is where I'm at today now, right here, 25 years later, 30 years later, I've become that wrestler that, where I'm at now. So.
And you started in WWE very young, didn't you? Pretty quickly after finishing wrestling school. What was it like going right into the biggest league there is?
I mean, I still have goosebumps, thinking about that at the right place at the right time. I was more than nervous. And I had anxiety. Just everything came because it happened so fast, And the joy part about this is I worked with a lot of legends that are not here with us today, and some are still here with us today. Well, I thank you for them because without them, I mean, they could have just chewed me up and spit me out. But the WWF, the father's senior, Vince McMahon's dad, they had believed in me, believed in Appa and Sika as well, and they gave me that opportunity at a young age, young kid, and I ended up becoming one of the hottest wrestlers at a younger age, I guess, at that time. I keep in mind I was young. I was so young that I didn't realize the position that I was in. I didn't realize where I was at that type of big stage like that. Compared to some of the other places that I wrestled out there in Florida, Pensacola, out there with the Ron Fullers and other Armstrongs. So not that I'm knocking any of the companies. I'm just saying that just coming from that to this, I mean, it was almost like it was a dream, it was almost like a dream, but in reality, I was really in it. I was right there at the right place at the right time. So it just felt, again, my career just sort of took off, and from there on, I sort of just went ahead and just made it my career now because I was already in it. I was already in it. I was in it too deep to turn back to go to high school or whatever to finish my high school and get my diploma. And again, it was just the right move at the right place at the right time, So here I am today.
There's a fan watching live, Bill, that says, hi, Chief Tonga Kid. Do you have any memories of working with Jimmy Snuka against Piper and Orton?
Yes, I do. A lot of great memories with Piper and Orton. Very good matches. Me and Jimmy or like almost like a father and son. And our relationship that grew. I mean, bigger than life because he took me underneath his wing, and he guided me through the lions, to the fires, to the storms, to the earthquakes and tsunamis, and you name it. He didn't have to do that again. Jimmy didn't know me, and I didn't know him, but the love that man had and the matches that we had with Orndorff and Piper were amazing. I mean, these guys are professionals. That's why they're legends. Orndorff, Piper, Cowboy Bob Orton. I mean, me, myself, and Jimmy Snuka. I mean, it was. I thank God for them believing in me as well and putting me underneath their wings as well. They carried me as well. All I had to do was just listen. But the matches we had were, I mean, there's no word for it because it wasn't even rehearsed. That's the good beauty of it. It wasn't rehearsed. That's how good they were. And I'm not saying I was good. The good thing about me is I just shut up and listen, which is a lot of these wrestlers nowadays, these young cats that are trying to get into the business. They think they know it all. They don't shut up and listen to somebody. They just want to run their mouth and whatever. And that's probably why they're at where they're at now. They never went up. They never went down. They stayed right there. They're in that comfort zone. So when you get too comfortable, then you're not trying to move on to the next level, But if you shut your mouth and listen to those that are trying to help you into the business, then maybe you'll get out of that comfort zone and move one step higher, right? But yeah, the matches were great, especially Boston Garden. Boston Garden was one of the greatest play. I mean, I love the energy there. We had matches there. I kid you not. They threw everything and anything you can imagine at Piper and Orndorff going now. I never forget when Orndorff tried to hit me with the power driver. I mean, I'm sorry, take that back. When Cowboy Bob Orton, and I don't know if you guys ever see, he does that elbow, and I'm talking to one of the fans as well. He has that elbow, and I don't know if you guys ever see him do this. He comes it off the top rope, and he also does it just right in the middle of the ring. And he did that. He was trying to do that in the Boston Garden. He actually went up to the top rope and tried to come off, and fans were just throwing popcorns and whatever else they threw at him. So he also just jumped down and walked out the ring because there was too much stuff throwing. He couldn't see where I was at. He sees me, but he didn't want to take the chance just to protect me as well. So that's a pro. He didn't just think about himself or me. He thought about me laying down there in the ring. And if you got people throwing stuff at you and you can't see, I mean, some wrestler that probably, again, the ones that don't listen, probably would have just jumped off and didn't give a shit, right? But he took the time not only just to think about, because keep in mind, I'm giving them my body, right? So you got to trust them to protect your body and make sure you don't get hurt, And that's how professional and pro they were. And he didn't just think about himself; he thought about me as well. So I thank you for that. So to the fans as well for. But you guys know that famous elbow. I don't even know if it has a name to it. But I don't know if you guys ever seen that before. I'm assuming you guys have, and especially when he had the cast, he had that white cast on. So that was even more dangerous. And that's a real cast. That's not just a tape. It was a cast. It was really hard, because I think he broke. I think I don't know this bone that comes up here or it's on this side, but anyway, Bob broke that, and there was a real cast on there. Just so you fans will know, that was a real cast. And if he some reason misses or slips, I'm going to get hit with the real cast. Again, he's professional and pro, that he keeps it down here. Thank you, Orton.
For Jimmy Snuka, Rocky Johnson told me that at one point he thought Snuka was more over than Hulk Hogan. Back when you were teaming with him, did you notice that as well, or was he comparable in popularity?
Oh, yes. Oh, no. He was right. Snuka was way over than Hogan. See, Snuka didn't need a belt. If you notice all of the wrestling shows that he had and who he wrestled as single man, I truly believe that the Superfly Jimmy Snuka did not need a belt to get over. Or, you know what I mean? Just him alone. He was one of the hottest, and probably still to today. I would say till today, the belt is still the hottest wrestler in the entire world, or not world, the country, because he was a bad hell. I'm still a fan of Jimmy. And for me, just to be his partner at a young age, that kid, man, it just felt great, man. I mean, I was like right in that comfort zone, man. The way he was built and his energy and his, Elvis music and every man, Snooker, everywhere we went, sold out. Jimmy Snooker. I'm not just saying me. It was 99%, 110%, I take it back, was all the Superfly Jimmy Snooker. I was just at the right place at the right time, and I just happened to be right there in the race. I was in the race with them, But yeah, Snooker did not need. That's one thing people don't understand. The Superfly Jimmy Snooker didn't need to be a heavyweight champion of the world, WWE heavyweight champion of the world, to sell out anywhere. No, he didn't need. Jimmy Superfly Snooker was who he is, what he's all about. He's completely 110% real Polynesian wrestler. And if you can tell the talent that he had and who he was, and I mean, he was all around me. He's like all around American. And he sold out. I mean, he was hot. He was hotter than Hogan. He was hotter than all of us, to be honest. 99% of people that want to come see him come off that top rope. And
Yeah.
that's what they pretty much pay the money to come. They want to see Superfly fly. You know what I mean? And that's what he gave them every night. Jimmy made sure that all his fans were happy and satisfied. Because if he didn't go up that top rope, I used to see kids. If Jimmy didn't go up the top rope and come out, they'd go home crying. I seen it in my own eyes. I seen the kids walk with their dad. They didn't cry. He didn't come up the top rope. He didn't come up. But Jimmy gave everything he had to all his fans, man. That's one thing about the Uso, man. He loved his fans, brother. Yeah, but to answer that question, yeah, Snooker was hotter than Hogan.
And I got to ask you, you appeared on that Dark Side of the Ring about him. They're known to be a little biased in their presentations sometimes. After you saw the episode of yourself on Dark Side of the Ring, what were your thoughts on that show?
I mean, it's almost like you're walking into a fire. You basically you're gonna burn your hand, you're gonna burn your feet, you're gonna burn everything in your body before you even know what's on the other side anyway. So in that time when I was on the dark side of the ring, those are sensitive issues we're talking about too, as well as on your show. So I would like to try to move forward if I can, and then we'll move or talk on about other things as well. But I would like to move forward on this conversation, and hopefully that those that understand and those that watch the show can basically tell the story himself, and not just the story himself. Of course, Tonga Kid got his own story as well. So yeah, we can move forward with that, and that'll be good on my end. It'll be good for everyone. Or I give a shit about who's watching this or not, and I'm assuming a lot of people are gonna knock me, knock you. That's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying? You call player haters a hate, man. We don't have time for that shit. You know what I mean? But hey, the more you talk about me, the better it is for me. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. I'm assuming you get the same shit too. So I mean, people gonna talk about you anyways, brother.
Yeah.
I talk about you, but I talk good shit about you, because yeah, if I didn't like your show, I wouldn't be on the goddamn thing.
Right.
So I give you props too as well, man. So look out for all those haters out there coming your way, man.
Thanks. Marco wants to know, what was it like having Bobby Heenan as your manager? Of course, that was when you were known as Tama, as part of the Islanders.
Yeah, Tama brother. Hey, most formal man. First of all, is send all of on the behalf of me and my family. We send all of our regards to the Bobby Heenan family as well, and Bobby Heenan, rest in peace. Bobby Heenan was a good manager. He was a good person. At the same time, everything was kept to himself. He wasn't really like that socialized. He was socialized with people that he knew. He sort of had his own little clique, like any other, wrestlers. Everybody has their own clique, and Heenan has his own clique. And we never traveled with him, me and my partner. We never roomed together at all. We never sat down and had dinner or anything with him. So the only time we see Bobby Heenan is when we got to the arena, and it's almost like, hello, hey, how you guys doing? We go and do our thing. We get ready for the match, and then he always wait by the Gorilla Monsoon's curtain. I'm assuming you guys know. I forgot what they call it now, but it's always at the Gorilla Monsoon position at the curtain before we go out. That's the only time I've seen Bobby Heenan is when we go out, and when we come back, goes his way, we go our way, and again he had his own clique, and we had our own clique, and everybody just went separate ways. But other than the manager, yeah, he had a good mouthpiece. He had a good style, you could say. He was flashy and had that blonde hair, and it fitted us right. As the islander, come from the island, no shoes, no, what I mean. It's basically like we don't understand English or speak English or whatever. So then you bring the Bobby the Brain Heenan in there, adds a little flavor into the Islanders, and also us, me and my partner Aku, we added a little bit flavor to Bobby Heenan as well. So it worked out good for both parties.
Ian wants to know if you have any memories of your famous WrestleMania 4 match against the British Bulldogs and Coco Beware, where Heenan was your tag team partner.
Yeah, that goddamn Matilda, that dog. That dog bit me, and I don't know if it was on my thigh or my leg, but it bit me somewhere during that match. I don't know if it was the beginning of it. That dog, if you guys watch it, where he ran across the ring, I think it was. And he got me. He nicked me somewhere, and I ended up jumping over the top rope. That's a memory I can remember of that, And also, I can remember my manager. He was suited up in this heavy old, I don't know what that thing. I don't know if it was the armor or something, man. But it's like nothing could hurt him. But hey, he was hot as hell, and that thing was heavy, and he was hot. But believe it or not, Bobby the Brain Heenan really didn't want to get bit by that goddamn dog. So they ended up getting, like I said, I don't know if it was a bulletproof vest, but it looked like a fire suit or something. But yeah, I even felt it. I go, man, that thing is hard. He goes, yeah, it was hard. It was hard. So he wasn't trying to be in there long. If you guys watched the match, I think he threw kicks and tagged out. I mean, it was like an in and out thing. But when he took the suit off, he was completely soaking wet because it was pretty hot under that thing. And it was heavy. He said it was heavy. I don't know how heavy it was, but I knew it had to be heavy because it was a lot of things on it. He even had on his ankles and his feet all the way up. So he didn't want to get bit by that dog. Something about rabies or something. Somebody brought some shit up about rabies, dog rabies.
Well, weren't they injecting that dog with steroids too and stuff, the Dynamite Kid and stuff, just as jokes?
You know what? I heard that too many times. I've never seen it, but I heard a lot of guys talking about it. I said, don't tell him what. By the time we got that dog, it was all fucked up, man. By the time we grabbed that dog, man, that dog had no idea what was happening. He slept most of the time. He didn't walk. He didn't exercise. He didn't do nothing. 90% we got to carry him. Because we took the dog, me and my partner, we actually had to take it on the road. It ain't like we just took it. No, we took it and took it, like really took it with us. That was our responsibility. I had to put him in the dog cage and put him in the car. That's a lot of work. You got to take him to the hotel. And you keep in mind, a lot of the hotels we go don't allow pets. You know what I mean? So, okay, what do we do now? Leave that some bitch in the car, crack the window. We get up the next morning. We come out. The whole fucking rental car is messed up. He ripped the goddamn chairs out the back. Matilda on ripped the front, what do you call it, the steering wheel. He was just fighting. He was trying to get out, but we couldn't find another hotel. A lot of the places happen like that. In some places, they allowed us to bring them the pets in the hotels, but you got to put a deposit down as well, or a credit card. I wouldn't put my credit card down because that some bitch gonna rip the whole room up too, the pillows, everything. So it was hard babysitting the dog as well, man. It really was. I mean, then he poops everywhere, and you got to try to clean it up. I mean, it was a lot of work. I couldn't wait to give it back to them some bitches. I couldn't wait to get the dog. Come take this goddamn dog,
Yeah, plus the dog doesn't know you either. It's used to the other guys. So I can imagine that would have been a pain. But for Haku, what was it like being partners with him? One of the toughest, probably the toughest guy in the history of wrestling.
Yes, it was, man. It was an honor for me. It was great. I met Haku in Montreal, Canada. When he was called, I think King Tonga, I think it was. But man, I was happy to meet another Islander wrestler, in the field that we were in. And when I heard about King Tonga in Montreal, Canada, and he was just the most kindest gentleman. I heard other stories about him before I even got there, and he speaks every language you can imagine. And working up there for the I don't know the name of the company back in Canada. Dino Bravo was company. That's where I met the Rougeos, the Rougeau brother, and then I met Dino Bravo there. Of course, he's the one that those are the ones that brought me in there. But he's an awesome dude. Like I said, we heard a lot of stories. I don't have to tell you guys stories about Haku because it's all over the world, all over the internet. People already know. Each wrestler and each person has their own testimony about Haku. All I can say, he's one of the greatest person to have, especially on your side. Especially for me. I'm just glad he didn't really completely beat me up in Canada. I mean, because I did work against him, but I heard Haku was pretty stiff. But I thought they were talking about the ring. I mean, he probably can be, but I didn't feel anything with him. They were talking about outside of the ring. I said, well, that's understandable. Because you don't want nobody bullying you, so you got to learn how to fight back. And that's what I told a lot of the graduates too as well earlier. Don't be scared to fight back. You don't never let anybody bully you too. I mean, you get knocked down 7 times, you get up 8. Simple, man. So you got to keep the momentum going and make sure you protect yourself. But yeah, King Tonga was he's a human being in his heart, and a grandfather and a father and a brother. I love him. There's nothing else more I could say to him that I love King Haku. Great, great man. The nicest person in the world. But if you get on his bad side or you talk about him or his family or something, now you have problems. Okay? Now you have problems because he takes that stuff real serious. He loves his family very, very much. He loves his kids very much, his grandkids. He's just an all around real cat. If anything, he should be the call Keep It Real on my show. He should be called Keep It Real because he is real. So I don't know any other tough wrestler in this industry that we're in now. They can stand up against Mauso Haku. I don't know anyone unless someone is watching might know someone that can give him a fight. But I doubt it. I doubt it.
I don't even think at the age he's at now that there's anybody that could.
I don't know. I mean, you might as well just eliminate them now. People ask me, what if Mike Tyson fought Haku? Nah. Tyson, I love Logos. Tonga is one of the strongest human being and wrestler in the world. It's not just he's a wrestler. He's been sumo King Tonga. He's been, if I'm not mistaken, he's been a lot of things. I know the sumo came in then the professional wrestling, but at the same time, you got to remember that Tongan grip. What's that tongue? What's that thing, Nicky?
Tongan death grip.
That's not that's real. I seen it. I've seen it many places outside of the ring, and maybe sometime inside the ring if you don't, respect or shut up. I guess. Yeah, Tonga's real, man. I gotta give it to him. I can't think of anyone they can. I can't match him up with anyone unless you guys can. But at this age, or what we talked about back then, when we talk about this age now, we're more mellowed now. Even myself, But I was that wild kid back then. And my brother King Tonga always kept a good eye on me, man. But yeah, I can't remember anyone that can match him up, brother, unless you can.
Yeah. No, I guess you didn't have to worry when you were out at the bars with him too much.
Yeah, exactly. All I had to do is go by him, or they already knew, and that's his partner. You mess with me, you have to deal with my Uso right there, King Tonga. A lot of them that want to go that route. Yeah.
There's a fan on here that wants to know what your relationship was like with Roddy Piper as far as in the movie, wrestling against him, and your thoughts on his passing.
We'll start with the passing first. It's a sad moment for me, as well as his family. I want to send my regards to their family, Piper's family as well. But when I first heard the news, I sort of just bent down a little bit, like I lost one of a good mentor in this business, because Piper was there for me as well, especially during my career and giving me that opportunity Uh, I mean, he could have just shut me down if he wanted to, but again, he had so much respect for Alpha and Sika, and well as myself. You can't you can't you can't miss something like that because Piper has put more years in the business as well as me, but a nice man. He believed in me. He really believed in me that I can pull this off. Me and him many a times would have conversations, and all he would do was just give me the advice, kid, can you do this? Kid, can you double knee frog? Kid, and I told him the truth. I didn't even know how to slam anyone back then, or a suplex or a power driver. But he said, "Can you come off the top rope?" So all the stuff he asked me that if I can do, I said yes. But some of the stuff he asked me that I can do, I say no. And I told the truth. So as long as I know how to knee frog or come off the top rope, just to keep the momentum going with him and the Superfly as well, it was great. It was great because he was like a coach. It's like a coach to me, a leader, a mentor, and a good person. A person that believed in me. So again, Piper is one of the best. You'll never find another wrestler with that type of talent, and not just talent. Piper can make a match in the no match. He can nearly just bring a bum out the street and throw a drop kick to him, and there's your star right there. See, I take one drop kick to make you a star, but it depends who you're drop kicking. You drop kick Piper, you're automatic a star because Piper is one of the biggest names in our industry today. A very good person. Like I said earlier, my relationship with him at the young age, he believed in me, and I want to just say, rest in peace, Piper. Thank you so much for all the beliefs and believing in me and having faith in me as well.
How did you become involved in that body slam movie, anyways? Because you weren't an actor, you were a wrestler. Did Piper hand pick you for that role?
That I don't know. I don't know uh, if Piper handpicked me or not. Then again, I'm assuming, I'm just guessing. It all started with Dave Wolf. I don't know if you guys remember the WrestleMania they had. They had Dave Wolf, Cyndi Lauper, Mr. T. All. I just thought they were coming to sing some halftime song or something, or just appearance. But actually, they were part of the show. And I guess after that, they decided Dave Wolf or Dave Wolf decided they wanted to do a first. Is that the first wrestling? I think that was the first wrestling movie, if I'm not mistaken. You get a refresh in my mind, and that's how I ended up doing the movie. But I didn't know I was going to become a co-star of the whole movie. I was me and Piper were part of the whole movie. So I didn't know if that was Piper's call to have me on that. I mean, I know I was in the movie, but I didn't know I was going to be this. I hate this word, to become the star of the show, or the head actors, you can say. Me and Piper together were the head actors, but yeah, it's either Piper or it could be Dave Wolf, or maybe they. And it's funny because back then I was always against him, and I always see him standing at the opposite corners. So I'm always on this side of the ring, he's always on that side of the ring, and then going to the movie, we're side by side, working against other wrestlers, other teams, which was a little weird to me because I was trying to adapt. Here's a guy that used to beat me up and call, all this, and ran the whole angle. I'm assuming this was after the WWE thing, right? Or the WWF. I take that back. When I ran that angle fiber, but yeah, I wish I wouldn't know who handpicked me, but I'm just thankful I was part of the movie. I mean, they didn't have to, but there was a lot of other big names there too as well. You know what I mean? Then again, maybe it was the WWF that had something to do with that as well. I was just thankful that I was part of the movie. But a big part, I didn't. I just thought I'd be sitting out in the just maybe one or two parts, but no, I was the whole movie. I was in the whole movie.
Yeah, and that's actually a great movie for wrestling fans. If any of them haven't seen it, Body Slam. I think you can still order it off of YouTube. They have
Yeah,
it on
yeah.
YouTube Movies. I'm going to imagine your pay for that was better than your wrestling pay.
Oh yes, much better. Yeah, much better. That was a good pay. I think it took us a month. I think it was a month and a half. San Bernardino, I'll never forget. Beautiful weather, beautiful place that we stay out there. And, the good part about it, everybody had their own trailer with their name on. I felt very like a star. I felt special. It was a good feeling. I mean, it was everywhere you turn, you had your name, Tonga Kid, and you had Rowdy Piper, and you had Dave Wolf, Cindy Lauper, and you always you have your own trailer, and you have your own food. And, I mean, it was just fun. It was nothing like wrestling. You go to wrestle, you get everything you got to do. You do it on your own. You go to the dressing room, you got to put your own knee pads on, your own tights. But the movie business, when I was there, is totally different. Everything was people always were there to help you and fix your hair and your makeup. You don't really have to do anything. Just show up and take your size, your arm, your shirt, your pants, and they go and get the wardrobe. Is that what you call it, Musso? Nick wardrobe, huh? Yep. The wardrobe. So it was fun. It really was fun.
Were you there the night? And the Barbarians told me about this. He was in that movie too, and I guess he ended up getting arrested one night at the party. I think
it was me and him.
Oh, you were part of that. Okay.
It was me and him. He's talking about the movie Body Slam.
Yeah, he threw somebody through a glass table or something, but I didn't know you were involved in that too.
Yeah, I was. I mean, I was there. I was there with the bar because me and him were actually hanging out in the restaurant. It wasn't. It was a restaurant. It was a bar, but when you go and have dinner, they have like a little lounge there. But yeah, it was at the hotel, right there in the lounge. Me and Barb were having a few drinks and talking and everything. And I guess some guy, I don't know what he did that pissed off Barb. And I come back from the restroom and I seen Barb. I just seen the commotion. I didn't see him put no one through the table or whatever. All I seen was the commotion. And what I mean by that is when I got in, there's like cops everywhere, man. I mean, it almost looked like a SWAT team, It probably was a SWAT team. I had a few drinks anyway, so I wasn't really tripping. I didn't think they were going to take them, or I didn't think anything. All I remember is that for the rest of my remember, and they sprayed him with mace, everything. You can imagine. He didn't budge. If anything, he went like this. Ah, you know what I mean? He's like opening his mouth and everything. I mean, he could. Nobody can control him except his wife. They got a hold of his wife. That was it. Barb. That was it. Hey, look, never ashamed. I have a wife too as well, man. So when they say something, you got to respect that. I think Barb had a lot of respect for his wife, and I do the same too. If my wife came, I have a lot of respect for my wife. So that's the only one that helped them. The police were so happy because they couldn't control Barb. I mean, you hit somebody with mace. If I'm not mistaken, I think they went to try to grab him underneath his, his groin area and to try to yank him. He didn't budge with that either. I mean, he was like, But yeah, he must have brought the whole SWAT team up there from California up there to the bar. But I do remember them hauling him off and putting him in the big one of those big trucks. And I guess they got a hold of his wife, and that was it. And yeah.
There's a fan on here that wants to know the craziest night out when you were with WWF. That had to have been one of them.
Yes.
Is there anything that beat that?
Most definitely. No. That's the one. That's the number one right there. You talk about the bar, the barbarian, man. That was a crazy night. It was scary too. You got to remember, I'm still young. I'm not really up there. I'm not up there in the 30s or whatever, but I was still in the area. I'm not. It was crazy, man. Like I said, I've seen a lot of stuff on the road, but nothing like this. I mean, you spray me with a mace, I'm done. You spray somebody with a mace and they're opening their. They're basically you sprayed in his mouth. It didn't phase him. You know what I mean? Yeah, that was a crazy night out. That was that's the only crazy thing I can remember being out there. Night out in WWF. I mean, not even that. It was the movie.
Marco wants to know any memories of Andre the Giant.
Yeah, he was mean to me. He was mean to me. He was. I walked in. Rest in peace, Andre, and you and your family. Our regards go out to you guys. But I remember walking in the garden. I don't think Andre knew who I was. uh, at the Garden. I don't think Andre knew who I was, that I was Alpha Sika's, nephew. And I remember coming into the dressing room, and Andre was sitting down, his back towards the door, sitting down with a little table and a deck of cards and a cooler full of wine. A cooler full of wine. So you know how big those bottles of wine are. So he puts his hand around it, covers the whole thing, right? So that's how small the. But these are the mid-sized wines that me and you would take a day to drink. So he had it like this, and he had his back towards the door. Andre the Giant. He was playing cards with what's his Skolin. Did I say his name?
Yeah, Arnold Skolin. Yeah.
There you go. He has a cigar. Okay, those two play cards all the time. I came in, and he didn't, like I said, he probably didn't know who I was, or he would have never did what he did. He basically told me to, "Who are you? Get out of the dressing room." He actually kicked me out of the dressing room. Yeah, Andre kicked me out of the dressing room. That he didn't know. Then I guess he found out that, and I was on the card. I was on the damn card that night. Ain't that some shit? And I guess Apancita told me that's his nephew, or somebody told him who I was. And I came in, maybe an hour and a half later, and he go, "Oh, hey, Kay, I'm sorry, Andre," and I shook his hand for the first time. That's the first time I've ever met him and shook his hand. Yeah, I seen him on the show, I seen him on the card, but to shake his hand, and that was for me. It was an honor. I just shook a legend, big old Andre the Giant, covered my whole hand up. He could have covered both hands. But yeah, that's the memories I remember him.
What happened with you in WCW? You had a brief run there with Fatu as the Samoan SWAT team, and then they ended up switching you out with someone else.
Switching me out, you mean in singles?
Yeah,
I didn't have a tag team partner. If anyone's I tagged with in WCW, we're talking about, correct?
yeah.
It'll be my brother, Fatu, which is known as Rikishi, the Hall of Fame, or it'll be Samu. But never I tagged with anyone else. We could tag, you could mix us all up. You wouldn't know who's who, but I did have a run as a Samoan Savage. Now I went single there, and they had their team, the SST. My cousin, the great Samu, and my brother Rikishi, Jr. So yeah, I was a good. I mean, I sort of liked it because all three of us were together, and I liked it because they can do 6-man tag match, we can do tag matches, or we can do singles. But in my case, I was already coming in trying to figure out where they were going to fit me at. So we just went Samoan Savage, and then they have the SST as well, Samoan SWAT team. So, and if you put the Samoan SWAT team together, you put all of us together. You know what I mean? But they already had the Samoan SWAT team. My brother Keisha, my cousin Samu, that was their thing, the Samoan SWAT team, which is a badass damn name, bad motherfucking name. You know what I mean?
So how was your experience in WCW overall? Was it pretty good back then? Because I know they were a little bit disorganized in those days.
Yeah, they were. I mean, there was a lot of hating back there. A lot of jealousy. You know what I mean? And you got I mean, it was just, you can almost feel the tension when we come in, or just the dressing room alone. And people were just walking on the eggshell and shit. I mean, that was terrible. What the hell wants to go around the atmosphere? We didn't have to do that. Not me and my brother and cousin. We don't walk on eggshell. If anything, we crush them. You know what I mean? Everywhere we walk, we crush shit because we were just we're real, not just in the ring. Okay, our work is different, but the wrestlers can tell you guys that. And it's almost look like when we work with you, we're gonna look like we're gonna rip your neck off our head or we hit you, but we're like one of the lightest guys you can work with. We're one of the, you won't even feel us. You won't feel a headbutt. You won't feel someone drop. You won't feel the leg drop. You just won't feel it. You know what I mean? But if you get us to piss off, now the dressing room is different because people back there are walking on HO. Everybody's just trying to get where they need to get. But they were on because they didn't know who to put where and where to fit people at. And I don't know who the goddamn booker was back then. I think it was probably Oli, but you gotta believe in some of the guys that are in the dressing room. You can't just believe in just these people here, which is we all know how the wrestling world is. You always have that favor. You always favoritism. And that's the way I look. That's the way I felt when I was there. But hey, we hold it down. We have to. We not only respect our uncles Appa and Sika, we respect ourselves as well. Now if you don't have respect for us, then why should we respect you? We're not gonna bend, we're not gonna kiss ass for our job. No, our work speaks louder than words. Simple, period. Anyone can tell you that. Anyone that worked with the Samoans will tell you that. And I'm not just saying this because I'm putting myself over or my family over. No, you can ask the wrestlers working with the Samoans how it. Let them tell you their story. And that speaks for himself. But if it comes down in reality, if it comes down like to the real deal, because we all know inside the ring is entertainment. When you come out the ring and we take you to the dressing room or to the parking lot, we're just gonna beat your ass up. It's simple, you know. That's how simple it is. And a lot of guys don't do that. A lot of them are just scared to open their mouth. Look, you got to open your mouth in this goddamn business. If you don't open your mouth, man, you're going to be stuck right at the same level. You will never go up to the next step. You'll always be there. You get too comfortable and where you're at, you're never going to make it. Period. You're never going to make it. You got to always try to climb that ladder, and that's why we're at where we're at, because a lot of wrestlers, a lot of people, they respect us of who we are, because we don't take no bullshit, and we don't. I mean, we know when it's time not to pull around and win, but hey, when it comes to that time when you ring that bell, it's business for us. But we don't need no one, talking bad about us if it's not true or whatever. Now we have an issue. We have a problem now. But we need to correct it now. There is no tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We do it now. You know what I mean? That's what's happening with these guys nowadays. They don't know what to open their mouth, or they're scared. They're gonna lose their job. Hey man, fuck all that shit. You do what's right for you, and your rights. You do it. You got to respect yourself. You do it. I mean, you're not gonna let nobody come and disrespect you in the front of the guys or the boys or not. And that's the worst thing you want is people come and say, "Oh, he's an ass. He's a scaredy cat." I mean, people talk. They talk. They talk. And that's not who we are. That's not our reputation. Our reputation, we earned our. That's why our reputation is where it's at today, especially thanks to Appa and Sika, because they hold the fork down and they don't play. So what do? We carry the same legacy they're carrying. But in reality, in real life, hey man, we would duke it out too. You know what I mean? I mean, we're not tough, but we're gonna get you. It could be 1-on-1, 2-on-2. It don't matter. So you got to learn how to speak up. You got to learn how to talk. You got to learn how to let them know that, I'm not the one. You can talk to some other jabroni like that, but you're not going to talk to me like that. You know what I mean? And this is where you got to put your feet down. But right now, I can almost guarantee you people are going to knock this, knock that, everything. If you have nothing good to say, me personally, if you have nothing good to say about someone, then just shut the fuck up. It's simple. Do yourself a favor, okay? Because we will find you or run into you. It don't matter, but we will find you. That's how simple it is. Okay. Thank God I don't hear nobody talking about me out there. But it's a small world. It's a small world. You know that, brother, in this business. I'm sure you have
Oh
a lot
yeah,
of
it
bad
comes
about
back to
you
you.
too. I'm sure you have a lot of people talk bad about you, but you talk bad about me. You got to keep in mind. You better start looking over your shoulders. It ain't just me. There's a lot of us. There's a lot of us.
Yeah.
There's a lot of us. You might turn it right, turn it left. You might get both sabot kicks. You don't know. But there's so many of us. So be careful. Be careful. I'm sure when you get a lot of bad people talking about you too, but hey, you talk about me, hey, we'll find you. You need some backup, brother. Hey, we're here, man.
Were you at all nervous when you went to Puerto Rico in '89? It was right after the Brody thing. I know you're a big tough guy and everything, but it had to be fresh in your mind what happened to him, and you're coming into the territory after.
Yeah, that was the last place I wanted to go. But again, there was not too many territories to go work with. I always heard nothing but good things about Puerto Rico before I went. The beach, the island, whatever, the sun, all that. And going in there, like I said, I was like, I didn't know how bad it was until I got there. But I ended up there with David Crockett. I think it was. That's my partner. Wasn't it Crockett? I think it was Danny Crockett. I think. And he was from Canada too, right? And me and him tag and won the belts, and we worked there. It was, as I stayed there a year. I think I stayed there for 2 years, maybe 3, and that was the last place I wanted to be. As I kept working, and the money was just bad for me as well. All on my end. It had nothing to do with the company. It was just all on my end. It was all my fault. But at the same time, there wasn't a lot of places you can go. and my family. You know, I was having a kid, my first kid, Jacob, my first son. I was having him, so I had to make a move, and I can't just sit around. So I took the job out in Puerto Rico, and then I went out there. And the day that you're talking about, Bruiser Brody, man, nice guy, man. Rest in peace, him, and all our donors go out to his family. Our support and love to Brody's family. I was there the day that he got, that the night that Bruiser went home, and to heaven. I mean, it was a sad moment. I mean, I was scared. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was completely scared. Like, you know how you get not only just scared, but like almost, you got shooken up, the fear. You could feel the tension in the air, in the dress room, in the ring, in the show, during the show. And the show kept going, and that was, so everybody there was nothing you can say. You didn't want to say anything. Me personally, I just wanted to hurry the fuck up and get out of there, trying to get to the airport. I mean, there was just not a good atmosphere. After that, that was it. I mean, 90%, a lot of us didn't sleep that night at the hotels, anywhere. I mean, we were looking over our shoulders. I'm trying to get my passport. Fuck the bag, fuck the money. I'm just trying to get the fuck out. I got a family to go back home to. So yeah, I was there when the Uso got hurt that night, and like I said, the tension built up as well. But when I met Brody, people always ask me this, and this is the honest truth. Again, I don't say nothing but the truth. I speak nothing but the truth. That's why it's called Keep It Real on my social media. So they ask me, who hit you the hardest in this business? Fans ask me that all the time. Who hit you the hardest? I tell them Stan Henson. Stan Henson, if you guys know who Stan Henson is, I'm sure you guys do. This guy will clothesline you. Keep in mind, I didn't know he was blind on one side, but when he hit me, it rocked me. I'm talking about when I mean rocked me, he nearly took my chest off, my heart, my soul, took everything with that clothesline. And it was hard. It was hard. And who kicks you the hardest in wrestling? So hitting me the hardest was Stan Henson. Clothesline me. But kicking me the hardest in wrestling, who kicked you the hardest? They asked me. And I told them, Bruiser Brody. I don't know if you guys ever see where he shoots someone off and he puts that boot up there, right? Also, Nicky Nick, he puts the boot up. And when he hits me with that boot, now keep in mind, he's not going to hold it for you to run into it. No, he's coming hard. He's going to kick you. He's coming full force. He's not going to, if you know a lot of wrestlers, when they'll shoot your rope, put the boot, and they wait for you to hit. No, Bruiser went right in. So I got kicked. The hardest I ever gotten kicked was from Bruiser Brody. The hardest I ever gotten hit was from Stan Henson. Those are the two guys right there. Hitting and kicking. Thank God Stan Henson didn't kick me because he was blind. Then I don't know if Bruiser Brody was that blind too, but I think Stan Henson he nearly almost broke my neck, man. I mean, again, I was young. I'm not going to say anything. I just shut up and say thank you for the opportunity because, opportunities don't come around too often, brother. I'm just glad I was part of even just wrestling against Stan Henson was an honor for me. You know what I mean? Because, he's a legend. Today, they're both legends right now,
Dieter Carr wants to know if you have any memories of working for Leah Maivia as a promoter, and is it true what Rocky Johnson said that there was heat between Shawn Michaels and The Rock? I don't know if you know anything about that or not.
No, I don't. I don't know. I don't know if there was, and I don't know anything about Shawn Michaels and The Rock. Oh, you mean The Rock? You talking about the son or the father?
The son, because the father had said there was at one point a small issue with Shawn and The Rock, but The Rock quieted it down pretty fast.
No, the good memories I had working for them, like I said, I don't know anything about that, but working out there for my auntie was great, man. I mean, we loved the beach. Again, it was me and my cousin Samu ran out there, right? I think the first time was me that me and Samu went out there, but no, not at all. We loved the beach. This is where I met Curtis, the one that manager Sheikah back in the WWF. Curtis,
Okay.
you know what I'm talking about? He had the big tooth to hang around the neck.
He was in WCW too for a while.
Yeah. That's where I met them, and I met Chief Afi there in Hawaii. Who else did I meet? So I met a lot of the guys that they didn't come up here to the mainland. You know what I mean? That wrestled up here anyways because they had that territory there. I met Kevin Sullivan out there. Who else? Yeah, but at the beach, to go and to help your family. It's always good to go and help your family. You know, she just her company. We went out there and we helped our auntie with her company as well. And the beach, like I said, the fish, the food. I mean, everything was just it's almost like a vacation, you know. But you're on work, but at the same time, it was a vacation because we were used to it. We walked around with lava all day, no shoe. We had suntan. It was just nice, man. Those are the great memories out there working for Auntie. But other than Shawn Michael and The Rock, I don't know anything about that. But I'm assuming they either squared that off or they still probably holding that grudge against each other. Look, man, just get the shit over with, man. You know what I mean? Get the one-on-one in the parking lot or some shit, you know?
I don't think I don't think Dwayne Johnson is too concerned about Shawn Michaels with the hundreds of millions of dollars
Okay.
he has now.
You're right about that.
Mason wants to know if you have any memories of Umaga that you could share.
Yes, I do. My brother was a great wrestler, and not only a great wrestler, a great human being, a great father, a great brother, a great uncle. And he was one of our youngest. He was the youngest out of all of us. I just loved the way he picked up on the business so fast. He picked up on wrestling so fast. You know, his talent. He took it to the next level, and I've learned a lot even by watching him. I mean, he took the Samoan drop and made it into a spiral drop. You know, I mean, it'll get nearly flip you up in the air if you wanted to. You know, but he's so strong. He probably could have did that. But yeah, I remember me and my brother used to hang out in Florida, in Pensacola, Florida, and we would go to the beach and we would play catch in the football, you know, in Pensacola. And he wasn't, I was wrestling at the time, but he wasn't really, you know, a wrestler. He was just a kid, you know, like me. I mean, he wasn't as young, but he would run around the beach, play football with him. Never in a million years that I thought my brother would become one of the top wrestlers in the WWF. But I was so proud of him because he picked up so fast, and his style and the way he looks, it's amazing. I mean, you just don't find people that looks like that all the time, right? I mean, you don't. But I was proud of him, man. I'm a fan of him too as well because he was just a great all the way around. He's all the way around American. What's good about him is my mom always told him it's good to give, son, than to receive. And he was a giver. He always made sure that his mom and his dad were in good hands, and his brother and his siblings too as well. You know, and that's the beauty of this. When one makes it, we all make it.
Rory is watching from Australia, and he says much respect to you. And he says, how do you find today's wrestlers compared to the wrestlers from your era?
Spoiled. They're spoiled, brother. Not when I was back then. This era nowadays, they're spoiled. You know, a lot of them don't. I mean, you know, with all full respect, a lot of them don't even deserve to have damn action figures and DVDs and shit like that. You know what I mean? This is just, with all full respect, again, I say that not because I have any, or I don't care if I have it or don't have it. You know, but the ones nowadays, when I came up, you had to work for everything that we had. I mean, go back and watch them videotapes of us back in the '80s and who we were. Nothing compared to these guys now. And they're not even on the road. I don't even think, and I might be wrong, they can maybe correct. I don't even think a lot of them are on the road 300 something days a year anymore. I mean, you're talking about 200 something days a year. I don't even think a lot of these guys are on it. That's what I mean by spoiled.
Yeah.
So you work once or twice a week and you're on TV, I don't know, once a week at fucking 3 hours a night. I'm not going to sit there 3 hours and watch a damn show. Shit, I'll fall asleep by then, you know? But that's what I mean by that. These guys are spoiled. They're all spoiled. Every single one of them right now. They're in the business today. Back then, we have to earn everything that we got. We worked hard for everything that we got. You know what I mean? Nothing was given to us. You know, you have to go out there, and sometimes you got to be a little bit of aggressive, you know, but we did. We had to do what we had to do again our work speaks louder than I actually speak louder than word. That's what I meant to say. But yeah, these guys nowadays are spoiled, brother. Our brother from New Zealand, is that where he's from? Yeah, these guys. I mean, you go look at them now. I mean, they only have TV. There's no other town. They sort of forgot all the other towns that Back then, we'd run 3 towns a week. I mean, 3 towns a night. Back when I was wrestling, 3 of them. You got the A team, you got the B team, and the C team, right? A, B, C. Three towns in one night, right? I did that right, Nicky Nick. So you got to remember, we're driving 200 miles after Philadelphia. We're driving to New York City. Then we're driving. Not these guys. Like I said, I don't even know if they wrestle 300 some days a year like we did. Now you'd be lucky if they wrestle twice a month. I guess I don't know. Well, maybe 4 times a month. But yeah, they're spoiled, man. All these guys are spoiled.
For the past year, it's been 4 times a month for sure, and they got the same pay.
Yeah, exactly. You see, so they didn't put their road time in. They didn't put. Hey, you can say I wrestled for 20 years, 30 years, whatever. You don't have records of all that. The only record you will have is when people see you in 19 whatever, like myself. I started back in 1980, 81, 80. And keep in mind, I broke into the business. I probably wasn't even allowed to go in the ring at 16 or get a job at that age. Shit. I don't think anybody get a job at that age. They're so young. But, I just thank God I got the opportunity. And Vince McMahon Sr. believed in me. Abba Siga believed in me. And everyone that surrounded me and carried me and took me underneath their wings believed in me. So that's how that worked. But nowadays, sometimes I don't need to be honest. I don't watch it. I'll watch my son. I'm supposed to watch my son. Jacob, an MLW champion. I love watching my kid, but I won't watch any other wrestling show at all. You know what I mean? It's just too bored for me now. Not only just bored, I'm not interested in it anymore. I'm interested in my son's matches, or I'm interested in his life and interested in how he's working. Yeah, of course. That's what fathers are supposed to do, is to be there for their kids. And that every father should do that, regardless good or bad. If your son is good or your son is bad, you still should be there for him, regardless, and expect and who they are and respect them just like you would respect anyone else. And that's where the respect come in at. So, yeah, these guys are spoiled, man.
Someone's asking if you ever worked with the Steiners, maybe in WCW, you would have crossed paths with them.
Yes, many a times. I worked with the Steiners many times in WCW. Me and my brothers did, Samu and Batu. Yeah, great matches, great dudes. Never had no problems with them. If anything, Rick was my brother, and Rick got along real good. You could see the relationship, and me and Scotty the same. Me and Scotty got along great. Samu, I mean, he'll work he'll kick you the same as he'll kick anyone. It doesn't matter who you are. It's called that roundhouse kick. That's Samu, that spin sabat kick that Samu does. Oh, I love it, man. I mean, how can you see somebody from back there? They could have knocked their whole teeth out, right? But yeah, the Steiners were good to work with. We had good matches. See, you can put us in the ring, tag us, and put us in the ring with any tag teams. We will make you who you are now. If they're not going to make you, we'll have a good match. A lot of people didn't want to work with the Road Warrior. Oh, we can't have a good match with them. There's like colliding. That's like the Demolition working with the Road Warrior. It's just the match is not there. I mean, the look and everything is there, but other than the match, some say, oh, that match stinks, or that match is good, or whatever the case may be. Well, you stick us with the Road Warriors, you better believe this is a good match. We're gonna make sure it's a good match. And they're good dudes too. They're good dudes. You just got to know how to adapt to them and work around them. That's the difference between us and other tag teams. Rather you small, big, or whatever, we're going to adapt. We're going to adapt quick, and we communicate. And me and my brothers, we communicate. So, yeah, the Steiners are great. They're good to work with, good dudes. I love them. I never had no problem with them.
You know who's not a good dude, Hannibal? You're not a good dude. Once again, you're wasting time. We're on the clock. We got places to go, people to see, babies to hug, and we don't.
I'd like to see him do a savate kick to you.
You know what?
I'm on his side now.
I'm a part of the Samoan dynasty now. I became an honorary Uso over the weekend, so maybe when I come to Canada to set you straight, I'm going to have the big brother here with me. How you like that? Okay. What do you have to say about that?
Tell him
you're going to need him with you if you want to come to Canada to confront.
Oh, you know what?
Sure.
Now you done brought the big. Now I'm going to make him a chief.
Now he's that's right. Look at that. That's right. The captain is now. I'm chief captain from this point forward. And guess what, Hannibal? You know what? We are done with you here.
We're coming to Canada.
The Chiefs are coming to Canada, and you're done.
And WWE ain't the only one that got a chief.
That's right. High Chief, Little Chief.
There we go.
Little Chief is right.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video.